Good morning, everyone. I am trying out Twitch for the second time, and I think that this will be better. I think that I've figured out and I'm just checking the stream here. I think I've figured out the buffering issues, and I think that I've figured everything else out. So, okay, it looks okay. All right, well, we'll see. I should also be simultaneously streaming on Periscope and on YouTube and on Twitch. Okay, so let's get into the news. I hope this works okay, and I'm recording to local as well, so if it doesn't work okay, I'll just upload the local to my usual YouTube channel. Okay, here we go. So yesterday, I talked a lot about WE, and today, no more WE. The whole WE deal's done, finished, kaput. Here is Justin Trudeau saying, obviously, the way this situation has unfolded has been unfortunate. Okay, Justin Trudeau warning, it's going to be 13 seconds. Here we go.
The way this situation has unfolded has been unfortunate. We will continue to work hard to make sure that young people get the opportunities to serve their country, but it will no longer be with the organization WE. Obviously, the way this situation...
No longer with the organization WE, and I suppose that's a good thing. I didn't really trust them in the first place. Certainly not to be giving out $912 million of taxpayer money, almost $1 billion. But there was a lot of opposition to this deal. Here is CBC News, and they're reporting federal government WE charity agree to part ways on summer student grant program. The federal Liberal government and the WE charity are ending a partnership that would have seen the charity distribute around $900 million in federal student grants this summer. The decision to outsource this work to a third party with ties to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's family was criticized by some in the charitable sector and by the opposition Conservatives. Pierre Poilievre, the Tory finance critic, has asked both the Auditor General and the federal procurement watchdog to review the sole-sourced contract that would have given WE the authority to administer the Canada Student Service Grant, CSSG. Volunteer Canada, a group that promotes volunteerism, refused to work with WE because it objected to how the program was being administered, and they opposed paying students for volunteer work. Yeah, because it's not volunteer work, right, if you're being paid. I scroll down a little bit. Today, Federal Conflict of Interests and Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion announced he was investigating Trudeau over the choice of WE to run the grants program, following up on complaints from Conservative and NDP MPs. WE also has gone through an organizational upheaval in recent months with a series of resignations and layoffs. Trudeau had defended the partnership, saying WE was the only group with a nationwide network capable of operating a program of this sort for young people. Other charitable organizations have questioned that assertion. Trudeau said Friday the move to cut ties was WE's decision, which we support. Okay, he contradicts himself later. The next red highlight is a contradiction from Trudeau. So, I mean, isn't that interesting when they're just contradicting themselves in real time, like as they're trying to sell their information, right? Isn't that interesting to note? Okay, I'll mention it when we get there. He said the federal government will simply distribute the grants itself, even though it doesn't have the same connections to smaller charities that we said it had. I scroll down. Obviously, the situation unfolded in a way that is truly unfortunate, because one of the things that ends up happening with this is that young people won't maybe have the same kind of access to programs that they would have. You know, I don't know. Okay. As for WE, I think the organization is going to take some time to reflect on its next steps and how exactly it responds to this situation, he said. The situation that's over now? The situation that is done? That situation? Okay, Trudeau said both the government and WE have things to reflect on and there are ways to do it better. Yeah, like not being corrupt and giving like hundreds of millions of dollars to your friends, right? Like not packaging a $40 million program, because when you do the math, it roughly adds up to about $40 million, as a $900 million giveaway to your buddy's charity. Yeah, ways to do it better. Time for a new leader that's not Miss Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister. At your service. Okay, back to this. But the core principle of being a government is that is there to support young people and to work with partners across the country to make sure that young people are able to get the opportunities, the experiences, and the service to their country at this time is continuing to be extremely important, he said. A statement from the federal government said today's move was a mutually agreed upon decision. The Government of Canada and WE Charity will work together to ensure that volunteers who have applied and been placed won't be adversely affected. WE Charity has also decided to return any funds that had already been received. Diversity, Inclusion and Youth Minister Bardish Chagger said in the statement, quote, "Our government's objective remains to connect the skills and abilities of young people with service opportunities to help heal their communities." And here's the contradiction. A statement from the federal government said today's move was a mutually agreed upon decision. Earlier, they said the move was WE's decision that the government supports. So one implies that we made the decision by themselves, and the other implies there was give and take in that. Here is the ethics commissioner, conflict of interest and ethics commissioner, saying we can confirm the ethics commissioner is investigating Prime Minister Justin Trudeau under the COI Act, subsection 44.3, into possible contraventions of subsection 6.1, 7, and 21, and has informed Mr. Trudeau examinations are conducted in confidence and report is released when complete. Yes, I think this is an interesting use of terminology. Trudeau to collaborate with ethics watchdog amid probe into his involvement with WE Charity deal. The federal ethics commissioner has launched an investigation into Prime Minister Justin Trudeau over his government's now canceled decision to have WE Charity manage a $900 million federal program, which is slated to pay students and new graduates for their volunteer work this summer. In an email sent to ctvnews.ca, Chantal Gagnon, a spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office, said Trudeau will work with the investigation. Quote, "We will, of course, collaborate with the commissioner and answer any questions he may have." Collaborate? Did they mean collaborate? Collaborate is, hold on. I had the definition there and now it's gone. Oh well. Anyway, collaborate, maybe cooperate is a better word, but collaborate implies some nefarious means there. Anyway, moving on. While the charity has backed out of the management of the program following days of controversy, Ethics Commissioner Mario Dion said in a letter addressed to the Conservative MP Michael Barrett that the Tory MP's request for an investigation satisfies the requirements laid out in the Conflict of Interest Act. Specifically, Barrett alleges that Trudeau violated a provision in the Act that prohibits public office holders from making any decision or participating in the making of a decision that furthers their private interests or improperly furthers the private interests of another person. He claims that Trudeau had a duty to recuse himself from any decisions or decision relating to WE Charity, given the Prime Minister's close ties to the organization and his wife's involvement, and that Trudeau violated the Act when he announced that WE Charity would administer the Canadian Student Services Grant. Barrett also alleges Trudeau violated another section of the Act that deals with affording preferential treatment when he said WE was the only organization qualified to run the program, given the existence of other national volunteer organizations. The ethics watchdog found that Barrett's allegations satisfied the requirements of the Act and has launched an investigation into both possible contraventions. Dion notes in his letter that Trudeau has been informed of the investigation. "Thank you for bringing this matter to my attention," Dion wrote at the end of the letter. "It didn't take long for political reaction to start pouring in." Barrett took to Twitter shortly after the story broke to slam Trudeau over the news of the investigation. Quote, 3 ethics investigations in 3 years. Justin Trudeau keeps using the power of his office to reward his friends and punish his critics, Barrett wrote in a tweet. No wonder he's now desperately trying to distance himself from his latest scandal. Canadians deserve transparency. NDP MP Charlie Angus also tweeted out a copy of the letter, similar to the one Barrett had received from the commissioner, as he had also requested an investigation on the same grounds. And he says, quote, "The Prime Minister really needs to start coming clean with Canadians on this whole debacle." Yeah, I mean, it is a big deal. It's not a small deal, right? Here's Barrett's tweet. Here's the Wall Street Journal. This is 2017. This is Canadian leader Justin Trudeau broke ethics laws by visiting the Aga Khan's island. Okay, that's one. Here's number 2. Trudeau broke ethics rules and they didn't say laws. Rules. He just broke some rules. It's just a rule-breaking thing. It's not a law thing. Thanks, Global News. Trudeau broke ethics laws by trying to exert influence in SNC-Lavalin scandal report. And the third one is obviously the one that just happened, the WE charity ethics violation. Here you go, everyone. Here's $1 billion. Please give most of it to students. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And don't forget those teachers. Here's an Ezra Levent and Rebel News exclusive. This week, Trudeau said there was no foreign influence, except Facebook influenced improperly from the United States. Does that count as foreign influence? I think it does, and it's really interesting. This is a minute-long clip. I'm not going to play it right now. I'll leave the link in the description, and I can have descriptions on Twitch, so there will be a description when the stream is done. I'll upload it like I usually would. So look for the link in the description, or you can go to CanadaPoly.com. I put all my stuff up there. Anyway, regardless, it's really an interesting. It's an interesting interview because the Facebook tech talks openly about Jagmeet Singh being targeted for disinformation, making sure there's no hate speech against candidate Singh, right? So it's very interesting with regards to that kind of stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Here's Global News reporting 11 hours ago, swarms of people were seen gathering on a part of the beach in Wasaga Beach, Ontario on Canada Day, ignoring COVID-19 physical distancing guidelines. I wonder how long this is going to be news. Do people care about this? Is this clickbait? Oh my God, those evil people. Click, 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 right? Let's see what they're up to, those evil people. Doug Ford says he's not closing the beach, though. CTV News is reporting, and this is July 3rd at 2:37 p.m. Province will not close Wasaga Beach. Instead, Ford says to use common sense. He says, I know Wasaga Beach was absolutely packed. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said on Friday of the overcrowding concerns at the popular tourist destination. Still, rather than closing the beach altogether, the Premier responded to the issues in Wasaga Beach by asking people to use common sense, adding, we aren't going to be closing any Ontario provincial beaches right now. Ford said the province would rely on the advice of the health officials. You know, I don't know. I hope that he doesn't bow to presumed public pressure. I hope that he doesn't say, oh, well, you know, it was really bad and look at all these cases. Because I still don't think we're seeing the high deaths. I don't even think we're seeing the high deaths that we were seeing in March and April in the old age home, in the long-term care homes. I don't think we are. So anyway, regardless, here's CTV News moving on to kind of COVID-19 and Dr. Tam and just the ridiculous push of fake news, like don't date. I mean, if you've got the flu, like if you're sick, right? And the WHO just came out yesterday or the day before saying asymptomatic people, very rare to spread this. So the whole lockdown, the whole reason for the lockdown, the whole reason for the masks is being said by the WHO, done. Not applicable, doesn't happen. And if I were doing my show as usual, I would pause it right now, go grab the tweet and put it up. But I'm doing it live stream, so these are the trade-offs we make. So anyways, regardless, Dr. Tam is still spent, and CTV News is giving air to such stuff as don't date if you're sick. Haha, common sense? I mean, oh, you look quite sexy with that snot running out of your nose and the bags under your eyes and I mean, I'll give you a call maybe when you're feeling better. Don't date when you're sick? What kind of ridiculous? This is news these days. Like, this is serious don't date when you're sick. Okay, thanks, common sense guy. Like, my goodness. Here's the last story for this morning, and I'm going to keep it short as 15 minutes these days. And just because I want to see how this stream worked, and if I have to fix it or whatever. It takes more time the longer the show is. Okay, this is the last story for this morning. National Post is reporting Ottawa jail inmates argue anti-COVID measures a breach of charter rights. I think they have a case. I think it is a breach of charter rights. I think what the government is doing is a breach of charter rights across the board with regard to long-term care homes and visiting. And well, here's the prisoners' complaint. See if you can draw any parallels. I certainly did, and I'll lay them out for you. This is an egregious diminution of liberties being imposed in an already restrictive environment, their handwritten application states. These impositions are tyrannical and dehumanizing. Upholding human rights should remain paramount even during a pandemic, the inmates say. They also point out the majority of inmates are awaiting trial and are presumed innocent. The applicants want the court to declare their rights have been breached and to order the government to take remedial action. Among other things, the applicants say they have been deprived of outside visitors, a crucial way to maintain contact with loved ones and community supports. Since March 10th, international law, they say, requires regular visits. So is that in contravention of charter rights? The prisoners allege guards did not wear masks until April 25th, and that since then correctional officers have worn face coverings irregularly, risking the inmates' health. Nor has the prison provided masks, sanitizer, or soap to prisoners, the complaint alleges. They also say they've been cut off from religious services, dental care, and various treatment programs. Although the applicant understands how volatile the situation has been, COVID-19 is not a justifiable excuse for the restrictions imposed during the pandemic, the document states. I scroll down. The psychological stress caused by the increased risk to contract COVID-19 while in pre-trial detention or long-term care cannot be overstated, the application states. I think they've got some legal grounds here, and I'll be interested to see if anybody takes this up. I think that there's a lot of potential for something to go through, and it's interesting that prisoners have lobbyists that will do this and go through lawyers to get their rights upheld. But our elderly are reliant on the court systems and the embedded systems in Canada, and I mean they're under constant attack. So how are they to uphold the rights of the citizenry without anybody advocating for them in the face of the constant attack that they're under? I think it's really a tall order, and it results in prisoners getting more representation about their rights than elderly people having representation about theirs within our current system. So that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, that's enough for me today. I hope it's not too jerky. I'm waving my hands around because I want to see how fast it is, and it's slower than usual, so I hope it wasn't too bad. You can find me now on Periscope and on Twitch. And Twitch will now be saving the streams for 14 days. And when I reach certain levels, it'll be 60 days. But I think that's okay because people don't really go back and watch the news. And all of my old videos were demonetized. Hey, but here's some other news. My videos were remonetized yesterday. I have no idea. Like yesterday, I logged in and they were green. I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea. So if you see one of my videos that's got ads on it, yeah, that happened back again yesterday. Wild. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why YouTube's being crazy, but they're being crazy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. Check out SpeakingMoistly.co. And thanks for putting up with this technology stack shift. I'm using a lot of different stuff. There's a lot of the learning curve is kind of big, and so I'm hoping to deliver a product that you can watch. And I apologize if we're not quite there yet, but I think tomorrow will be even better. I'm going to try some other refinements on my frames per second and stuff. I think I had it too high today. And other than that, I think that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Really, I do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing this, and thanks for suffering through the bumps with me. Okay, cheers. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.